Be talking about how you navigate the workspaces when you don't feel good. You feel like
Hola, and welcome to Career Confident Mujer, the podcast designed for jefas and jefitas of the professional world, the first generation professionals. From triumphs to challenges, we're here to share the stories that inspire you to become the jefa of your dreams.
Welcome back to another episode of Career Confident Mujer. And this time we're taking the podcast on the road. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm at a park. Honestly, I've been a little stressed lately, and I feel like I just need to get out and be outdoors, and hopefully it's not too noisy in the background, but just bear with me. But today in our podcast episode, I really want to talk to you and be really more authentic and share with you things that have been on my heart, what's been impacting me lately. And right now, my emotions are all over the place. I feel like I'm an emotional wreck, but you probably won't see that on the outside because I internalize everything. So today I wanted to talk to you about how we navigate stress, being career confident mujeres. How do we navigate different emotions that we feel, and how do we overcome being overwhelmed and seek support? Because I think a lot of times as career confident mujeres, we're always on the go, always doing something. And it was interesting. I had seen a podcast episode on TikTok with this, I don't know if you know her. Her name's Candy, and she's a Latina, and she does makeup. And she had made this comment where she's like, I can't rest. I can't stop. Like I can't stop. People are too dependent on me. And I think that notion of having to keep going when even you don't have enough is something that we often do way too much. I do it all the time, and I'm horrible at that. And I've been really trying to lean on my support network and dig deep and get through all the feelings that I've been putting down. But at the same time, having to show up and work and navigate these spaces when you're going through a stressful time is really hard. Okay. So let's talk about it. That's what the podcast episode is going to be about today. We're going to be talking about how you navigate the workspaces when you don't feel good. You feel like shit. Okay. So let's talk about it. Honestly, right now I'm in a space where, like I said, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. I'm going through a lot of PTSD from trigger childhood sexual trauma. And I'm just being triggered, and things are coming back, and I'm just being overwhelmed, and my stomach hurts, and I'm like, what is going on? And I recently have really dug in and started doing therapy, and that's helped me a lot. But even when you do therapy, you'll realize that you are digging up all of these emotions that you have put deep down inside, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot to handle. So, first off, I want to tell you that you have options, right? Like, if you did not know, like depression, anxiety, those are all mental health, mental illnesses. So, technically, for HR, it could be considered a disability, especially if you have a doctor's note. I remember I was going through my divorce a couple of years ago, and I remember when I tried going to work, I would just stare at my computer like all day, and I would just be so unproductive. Like I was just in zombie mode. And so I sought help. I went to the doctor. They recommended that I do some therapy. I did some outpatient care, which is basically you have to show up to like group counseling sessions for about like 4 hours of your day, but they request that you're off of work so that you can be able to process that. That was amazing. I think I did that for 2 to 3 weeks. And that doctor's note I provided to my work, and they gave me those 2 weeks off, and I used my sick time. And even if you're like, I don't have sick time. Girl, use unpaid time. You need to do what you need to do because you need to put yourself first. There's only one you. There's only one you. So you need to put yourself first and not put yourself on the back burner. And as hard as that is, the way that you get through stressful moments, the way that you get through being overwhelmed is when you're going through it, go through the storm, and there are those support systems. But you don't need to go through the storm and seek therapy and still work. Like, there are options. So I would say, if you are feeling stressed or overwhelmed, go talk to a doctor, get a medical note, bring it to your job, do what you need to do. Um, or maybe, for example, recently I'm feeling a little stressed. I'm not feeling a little stressed. That's a lie. I'm feeling a lot stressed. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to therapy, but there's other things where I am now telling my boss, like, okay, I have to leave early these days. And maybe those are days that I choose to do therapy and I don't want to return back to work. Like, I don't want to come back to work and I have that luxury to do that. So I'm going to do that. But a lot of times, that what the problem is, there's a car passing me, so that's kind of a weird interruption. But that's what happens when you take a podcast live. Okay. But I feel like people that are listening to the podcast, they're like, what is going on? Anyways, if you watch on YouTube, you see all the fun. Anyways, so that's the thing where we need to be able to ask and communicate with our supervisors. If you don't feel comfortable with your supervisor, communicate with HR. Talk to them about what's going on. You don't need to be in details, but seek resources and stop thinking that you need to do it all. One thing that I've been doing recently with my boss is I've been telling him, like, I'm going to be leaving early because I have therapy appointments, or I'm just even scheduling days where now I don't have any meetings. And I'm like, that's a vacation day. Like, am I going anywhere? No, but I need to not be at work because I need to focus on myself and I need more than just the 2 days on the weekends, right? So I definitely recommend that. I Another thing, if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, self-care is huge. I realize I don't have self-care routines. I like to work, and so my self-care is like Netflix. But I don't think that's self-care. I mean, I like to color, things like that, but like, I need to do some more activities. So that's why I'm outside. I'm coming to the parks earlier in the morning just to be in nature and to relax and to journal. And these are things that are helping me not be so stressed. So I think journaling is really good. I'm trying to do it in the morning and then in the evening, because that helps me in the morning. I probably have thought a lot through my dreams or have been thinking about things that keep me up at night that I'm tossing and turning. And so journaling helps me with that. And journaling in the evening helps me reflect on the times that I feel, anxious throughout the day, or what were those stressors, think about it, reflect on it. So those are some of the things that have been working for me. And I hope that these tips help you. And I want us to basically break the stigma that you have to do it alone. A lot of times we might feel very vulnerable in these spaces where we're opening up to people, where we're letting them in. And I just want to remind you that you have people in your corner. And if even if you don't, there are medical professionals that can be in your corner and help you navigate due to these hard times. Your life is going to have ebbs and flows, seasons of joy, seasons of sadness, and each season has a purpose. But the more that we stray away from facing it, the more that it eats us inside, right? And if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, a lot of times we're also career women. We have to go into these spaces and we have to be able to show up, you know, but remember, that you do not always need to be at 100%. Give yourself grace, okay? If you're going through a hard time, do not beat yourself down because you are not performing at your best performance. If you're on this podcast and you're a career confident mujer, you're probably already going above and beyond, okay? So your 100% is someone else's 200%. So let's be real. You can function at 50 and still be good. Okay, so stop being hard on yourself and communicate and let people know what's going on with you. You can say to your boss, hopefully, you might have a good relationship where you can tell them, you know, hey, I'm going through some things personally. I might take some time off here and there. But I just want to let you know, in case you might see that my mood is a little bit different. I am here. I'm focused on the role, but I might not be performing at my 100% energy that you normally see me at, but I'm working on it, you know? Because you never want them to complain about your work and your job performance because they're not looped in and they're like, what's wrong with this girl? Like, she's just not showing up the way that she normally does, right? So make sure that you have communication open in these different areas. But I just want you to know overall, if you are stressed and overwhelmed in this time of your life, you're not alone. The strongest women are often the ones that internalize and just keep pushing and just keep pushing. But I want you to remember that you are human. You can do everything, but not everything at the same time. And you need to remember that you come first and that you are important and we need you around for a long time, mujer. So take care of yourself. Um, I'm a little bit more vulnerable in this space with you and authentic. And I just want to share with you because I think it's important that we share the truths of what goes on in our day-to-day lives and how we navigate these in our workspaces, how we adapt to these changes and make new lifestyle changes and give ourselves grace, right? So thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, stay courageous, walk with your head held high, and stay confident, mujer. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Career Confident Mujer. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to fuel your own career journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Remember, you are not alone on this path. Take care and remember that you deserve it, mujer.